Today, Boeing satellite falls apart, literally. Apple may finally be ambitious with the iPhone 17, and we get an early look at the RTX 5000 laptops. Let's get into it. Cosmic confetti is what we may call Boeing satellite, the Intelsat 33E, which decided to just fall apart conveniently in orbit due to an anomaly resulting in its total loss. It's as if Boeing can't have enough of a tough year with every product on Earth and in space falling apart. Now, the US Space Force is on cleanup duty trying to track down the missing pieces of debris, with the tracking company doing the same. The Intelsat 33E had propulsion issues from the start, and its sibling, the 29E, was lost in 2019. The project looks like it was cursed from the start, but it looks like Intelsat and Boeing are working with government agencies to analyze the cause of the anomaly. Like, I'm trying to analyze how Qualcomm may lose an arm, as Qualcomm and ARM have a sort of symbiotic relationship, with Qualcomm using ARM CPU architectures, which it licenses, tweaks them and makes their own CPUs like the Snapdragon CPUs. However, this may change as the relationship may come to an end, because ARM isn't happy with Qualcomm's acquisition of Nuvia, a chip startup back in 2022. ARM has issued a notice to terminate that licensing agreement with Qualcomm, which could disrupt its ability to design Snapdragon CPUs. And if that contract is terminated, it wouldn't just spell disaster for Qualcomm's $39 billion revenue stream, but also the smartphone industry as a whole, which relies on Snapdragon CPUs. We'll see if Qualcomm can reduce this dependency on ARM by designing more of its own CPUs. And Qualcomm and Google are teaming up to become the Batman and Robin of your AI's voice assistants, leveraging Google's Android Automotive OS and Snapdragon chips. And Qualcomm has introduced two new chips, the Snapdragon Copilot for dashboard operations and the Ride Elite for autonomous driving features. Among the weirdly impressive features, most notably in that NPU performance needed for the AI capabilities. These chips will start sampling next year. TSMC found that their chips were mysteriously sneaking into Huawei's AI accelerators like meat in a vegan's meal, because a US sanction was introduced to prevent this from happening. It turns out there was a mysterious middleman who was supplying Huawei with the TSMC chips. This mysterious client supplying Huawei with the chips was cut off in mid-October, and TSMC has informed US and Taiwanese governments. And what does Huawei have to say? It claims it has not been using TSMC chips, and since the sanctions were imposed, it has a local source. But US officials doubt if that local source can keep up to Huawei's AI demands. Intel is seeking a foundry alliance with Samsung to counter TSMC's semiconductor dominance, seeing that both companies have had their fair share of struggles, and I mean fair share of struggles. But Intel CEO is setting up a meeting with Samsung's chairman, hoping their combined power might bring balance to the semiconductor cinematic universe. And speaking of competition, Amazon is reportedly working on a secondary sales platform to compete with TEMU. The new platform will have similar dirt cheap prices, with goods also shipped from China, but with slower shipping times, about 9 to 11 days, but lower fulfillment costs for the sellers. So if you order a guitar for $13, you might as well start practicing air guitar in the meantime. Some MIT engineers have created a distillation system that turns salt water into fresh water using sunlight, without needing those pesky batteries. The tech was tested in New Mexico and could bring fresh water to inland communities far from the sea. And Arkansas just hit the lithium lottery with a massive reserve, estimated to contain about 5 to 19 million tons of lithium, which is more than enough to meet the 2030 global demand for lithium in car batteries, and sure to make Elon Musk crack a smile. Now, extracting the lithium is like trying to get at that last bit of ketchup out of the bottle. It's all in the brim and it's tricky. So, ExxonMobil and friends are on it, using fancy direct lithium extraction tech. Think of it as a high-tech straw for slurping up lithium from salty underground milkshakes. The method is faster than traditional approaches but involves higher costs. The question is, can they do it without going broke? Into the Apple news. Apple thought it could sell a $4,000 headset like hotcakes. Turns out people aren't eager to look like a futuristic cyborg, and Apple has so many unsold headsets that they might as well start a museum. Factories are now producing half as many, and some have stopped producing them altogether. Now, Apple is pausing on the Vision Pro to focus on the cheaper, because if people won't buy the more expensive $4,000 version, they'll surely jump to the opportunity of buying a less expensive version. Apple is also reportedly developing a new application specifically for games, combining features from the existing App Store and Game Center. The new app might have a Play Now tab with hand-picked games and a tab for your friends. Plus, you can chat with your buddies via FaceTime and iMessage, if they don't use Android. Apple's John Ternus is hyping up the iPhone 17 as the most ambitious iPhone yet. Yeah, I've kind of heard that a lot of times. As Rich Dine recently got a promotion to Vice President of Product Design specifically for the iPhone, and whose previous works include the new camera control button. So we may see the next gen iPhone be more than a glorified one-trick pony. But what's not a trick is this $90 million fine slapped on Apple and Goldman Sachs by the Consumer Protection Bureau for mishandling Apple Card disputes. Apple failed to send details of disputed transactions to Goldman Sachs, which then did not follow the Federation investigation requirements, affecting hundreds of thousands of customers, resulting in Goldman Sachs being banned from launching new credit cards until it can prove compliance with federal laws. Apple is gearing up to release the M4 chips across its Mac lineup. The new MacBook Air is set to begin production soon, with obviously no design changes but just a brain transplant. Brain being the M4 CPU. Think of it simply as a brain transplant for your laptop. The Mac Studio is also delayed. Again. It's like waiting for a bus that keeps getting rescheduled. Netflix has hit the pause button on its AAA gaming studio in Southern Carolina. 3 gaming legends, including the guy who helped make Overwatch awesome, have left the project, with reasons for their departure being a bit of a mystery. Netflix might need to rethink their gaming strategy moving forward, but they still have over 55 games you can play for free with your subscription. Over at Team Red, the second generation of AMD's Ryzen Z series processors for handheld gaming consoles will be led by the Z2 Extreme. Based on 4nm Strix Point monolithic silicon, the iGPU is getting an upgraded 16 compute units based on RDNA 3.5 architecture, optimized for that fast LPDDR5 memory. The CPU is decided to mix things up with a quirky core configuration with 3 Zen 5 cores and 5 Zen 5C cores, sharing a total of 16 megabytes of L3 cache. This should offer improved gaming performance but not jaw-dropping performance compared to the Asus handheld with the Z1 Extreme. Over at Team Green, Nvidia is playing Santa early, sending out samples of their new RTX 50 series GPUs to board partners. It's like Christmas, but with a lot more CUDA cores and a lot less packing. The RTX 5080 laptop GPU is rumored to have over 8,000 CUDA cores. Also, these GPUs are expected to use GDDR7 memory, promising a performance boost, with a possible 16GB of VRAM. A Q1 2025 launch is likely, with Nvidia expected to make its grand announcement at CES. Over at Team Blue, and someone in the UK selling their Core Ultra 7 265 before its release. The processor is listed at £450, but it's a bit steep considering the official price is £379. It's like paying extra for popcorns at the movies. Even if you buy it, it's not like you can use it as compatible motherboards aren't even available yet. You might as well buy a car with no wheels.